Still Loading podcast is brought to you by the wonderful people on Patreon. Amazing people like Stephen P., Gilmer, Kevin from the Bit by Bit Foundation, Doug from the Nostalgia Marcanum podcast, Matt aka Stormageddon, Melissa S., Bib Extra, Ryan K., Mike from the Old Switcheroo podcast, Sang H., Red from the Kaito and Red Show, Parallax Puddles, and Mr. Biscuits have all been wonderful enough to support the show over there. So if you would also like to get your name read at the beginning of an episode, along with a bunch of other goodies, go over to patreon.com/stillloadingpod and check out everything it has to offer. On this episode of Still Loading...
But we've got to get your body back from Gannon.
Don't tell me you only love me for my body.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Still Loading podcast. I'm your host, Josh Koval, and today's episode, it is the finale of the Legend of Zelda portion of this Mario Super Show rewatch watch through, watch along series that we have been doing here on the Still Loading podcast. We are going to be talking about episode number 113. Sorry, that's the what's on the YouTube video. It's episode 13, The Missing Link. Though in terms of release order, like when it actually aired, this would have been the second to last, but we're not going by that. We're going by we're going by production order, not release order. Production order, this was the last one. This episode, like I said, is called The Missing Link. It was directed by John Grust and written by Bab Forward, as we always pronounce their names correctly on this show. It was released on November 24th, 1989, and the live action segment is called Tutti Frutti Mario, and there's... I got words about that. But before we get into those words, joining me as always, my co-host with the mo-host, Dexter Morrill. Dex, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Just to explain to our listeners, you can hear me, but you can't see me. I'm invisible. I'm disappeared.
And actually, that is actually kind of fitting because last time we recorded on Zencaster, and this time we're back to my normal recording site. So this is where I cannot see Dexter, so it's very fitting for this one.
Even if he could, he couldn't right now.
Even if he could, I'm not here.
That's right.
But anyway, yeah, we're talking about episode 13, The Missing Link. Okay, I need to get something off my chest right off the bat, Dexter. We are not going to even bother fucking talking about the live action segment. Do you know why?
Have we seen it before?
Yeah, it's on the missing.
Okay.
It's on that Sinking Feeling. It's they changed the name up in the Sinking Feeling. It's Tutti Frutti Tutti Frutti, Oh Mario. This one is Tutti Frutti Mario. And so I went back and I watched the Tutti Frutti Oh Mario, and it's the same goddamn set piece. It's the same goddamn clip. They just repeated it and changed the name, and they thought, you know what? Oh, hold on. So this was on November 24th. How long prior to this one? October 13th. So a month and a half, approximately a month and 11 days. And they're like, that's far enough. And they use the same goddamn live action clip of Mario and Luigi. I'm genuinely disappointed because these have been the only saving grace for these Zelda cartoons, and we get one that's a repeat. I'm heartbroken, Dexter.
Bummer. Although I did make note, because I don't know if we caught it last time, that we got one of King Koopa's calling the Mario Brothers names, but from the scarecrow, the little scarecrow that's in their apartment. He calls Luigi Spaghetti Breath, and I was like, hey,
That's pretty good there.
I don't know if that needs to go in our chart or anything like that, since it's technically the
No,
live
that's
action
not.
segment.
It's a live action segment. We can't count it.
Yeah.
But it's
Otherwise, I
just
was like, I'm either having deja vu or I've seen this before.
you have indeed seen this before, and I'm really sad. I'm really upset about that. I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping that like we would get something new, but there was nothing new. And boy howdy, like did we pick an episode to end the Zelda series on?
Womp womp.
Yeah.
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 Another tally in the on the bad column.
Well, I'm just grateful this is the finale for this. Now, it's not going to be like a super long finale because this episode, we're not even going to talk about the live action segment. We already did on that Sinking Feeling. So if you want to know our thoughts on Tutti Frutti O Mario or Tutti Frutti Mario, you can listen to the Sinking Feeling episode, which I don't remember which number that was because I should have probably put the Zelda episode titles in the title of the podcast, but I didn't. I just called them Zelda Cartoon Episode 6 or Zelda Cartoon Episode whatever. So that's on me, egg on my face. But yeah, why don't we dive into this one, Dexter? Why don't you kick this one off? How does this episode begin? Because you were telling me off mic, this episode's giving you some feelings, some conflicting emotions on this one.
I've got mostly nothing but bad things to say about this episode. The one
Okay, not so conflicting.
Yeah, no. The one good thing I'll say, but we'll get to it. I don't want to kind of like spoil it up front. The coolest part of this episode is the ending, and I wish that the ending was the concept of a different episode. If that, you know what I mean? Like if I wish the ending was the beginning of another episode, because that would have been cool. But we'll get to that. I don't want to spoil it. I want to. We'll end on a high note. Even though this Zelda cartoon has had its bumps and bruises along the way. We'll try to send it off on a high note.
Bruises, all bruises. There's been no bumps. It's just all bruises. Oops, all bruises. The worst Captain Crunch flavor. You just open up the box and get punched in the face.
A bunch of boxing gloves shoot out at you.
It's just oops, all bruises.
Like I could picture the commercial.
It's just I like that. It's not a fist. It's a bunch of boxing gloves, and they're spring loaded in the box. Weighted boxing gloves. This is a better concept than this episode.
We've done it. We've beaten the episode.
We've beaten the episode. Why don't you start it off though, Dex?
This one starts out beautiful day in Hyrule. And Zelda is picking flowers in the field, I guess. I don't know why she's picking flowers, but and moblins appear. They are transported there and just start firing bows and arrows. They're just taking shots. And much like Star Wars stormtroopers, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. But Link notices and jumps into action to save her. But Gannon shows up with his Stalfos. They're carrying him on a throne.
Out of the mist.
Yes, he appears.
Out of nowhere. If he could have done this the whole time, why didn't he fucking do this?
I know it gets worse though. It gets worse, remember, because Zelda is like, we have to defeat Ganon using magic, so I've got to go get the Triforce, and she just yoinks Link's shield and runs away. I was like, you can't be like, hey, cover me. Nope, I'm gonna just take your shield and leave you while they're shooting at you.
I feel so dumb. I did not even realize she did that. I was like, this show just kind of washes over me. Like, no, usually washes over me. That's usually a compliment. Like, oh, it just kind of washed over me. I was able to bask in it. There was no basking in this. It was all, like I said, oops, all bruises. I got bruised all over the place. So I'm just ignoring half of this.
Yeah. But I was like, ask for cover. Don't steal the guy's shield if you're leaving him by himself. But so she does. She runs off to get the Triforce.
and comes back without a shield.
Yes, I made note of that too. She didn't even bring the shield back. What the hell? But Gannon shows up with a new weapon called the Power Wand, I think he calls it. And he says, with this, I can zap her into the evil jar. So I guess that's the power of this Power Wand, is it doesn't just send bad guys. You can transport other people into the evil jar. But so there's kind of a magic volley back and forth between Ganon and Zelda, which once again, this show did it first before you do the whole volley battle with Ganon in Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past, where you're shooting the magic back and forth. But during one of the pinballings of the magic, it hits Link and he dies, and that's the end of the show. Oh no, that's not how the show ends. He disappears. And I had to go back and check this. No body, by the way. He disappears like a bad guy when they get killed, like disappears into light. And Ganon's like, now hand over the Triforce. And Zelda's like, why don't you come and take it from me? And Ganon goes, oh, I could, but why work so hard? And then he just leaves. And I was like, wait, what?
Absolutely absurd, because his logic of doing this right now was to get Zelda out of the way. He got the person that arguably, according to the logic of the show, I would say they're both equally capable based off what we've seen, but how the show presents it, at least, is that Link is the more dangerous threat to him. Yeah, he gets Link out of the way, and Zelda is just left there with her and the Triforce. And he goes, nah. he came in with a more challenging task at hand, and when the task was made easier, he goes, nah. I'm just gonna leave.
He specifically brought a weapon to send Zelda to the evil jar, and decides not to use it. Like that was not the whole point.
Yeah.
What? Oh man!
Like, there's been times where the logic in this show has been sketchy at best. This is like sketchy at worst.
Yes, exactly. And so, like, I can usually try to do some, bending over backwards to try to fit things together, but this makes no sense. And just so our listeners who haven't seen the episode know, Ganon does not pick up Link's body. Nobody picks up Link's body and walks away with it. Link straight up disappeared.
Well, that's because usually when you get zapped and sent to the evil jar, your whole body goes there. But something changes this time, Dexter.
Yes. So Link is still there. Zelda finds out. She can hear Link, and he's like transparent. But she's the only one who can see him, I think, is what the conceit is here.
Yep, she's the only one that can see him, because Sprite comes up and she's like, I hear Link, but I can't see Link. And Zelda's just very confused by this.
Yes, and Link looks like he's about to flick Sprite, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. I was like, is he going to flick her? But we also learned that he's intangible, so he can't like pick up his sword or anything like that.
Link is intangible. That's funny.
And Zelda says to him, so you're even more useless than usual when he can't pick up his sword. And I was like, that's a burn right there.
I don't blame her for saying that. It was funny. So I actually watched this with my daughter this morning, actually. And when we were watching, she's like, I want to watch more of this. And I'm like, 90% of this episode is Link trying to kiss Zelda in ghost form. And I'm like, I don't want my kid watching this. This is not a good message for children.
This episode has 3 or 4 excuse me princesses as well. It's very excessive in this one.
I didn't even catch all the. I mean, there was a lot. I caught a few, but I didn't keep. We should have had a counter for this series, but you know what? We decided to count how many times Bowser / Koopa insults Mario in the Super Show. I think that's more important.
So many stats, yeah.
I think we are counting something much more important for history.
That's right.
That's the way I'm looking at it. That's so funny though. So Sprite takes away the Triforce, and Link and Zelda are on a journey to go get Link's body back. It cuts over to the evil jar where Ganon is going like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, Link's body is not here. Link's asleep here. He should be awake. So if that means its body is here," and then he's confused by it at first, and then as Zelda is taking Spirit Link to Ganon's lair in this giant labyrinth of underground castle straight out of fucking Mordor. Maybe what is it? What Moria? It looks like something out of Moria almost from Lord of the Rings. I've been on a little bit of Lord of the Rings kick lately. Even so, they they're talking, and then all of a sudden a Stalfos a bunch of Stalfos appears in front of them. Link tries to take him out, only to suddenly forget that he's just a ghost and can't fucking do shit. And Zelda gets stomped by almost 4 of them, so she has to take them out. And I do kind of like the fact that like this is, even though Link does not deserve this like grace like this, it is nice sometimes when there's a character who's constantly getting shit on, where someone gets put in their shoes and they realize, oh, this is harder than it looks.
Right.
And I always enjoy that. I just don't think Link deserves the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. No, I do. It is a decent concept of him trying to coach her through using the sword and stuff. But yeah, their character quirks don't make it a little bit more annoying than it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. In general, I've hated their dynamic throughout this entire cartoon. I don't like Link and Zelda's dynamic at all. As my friend, our mutual friend Jala has said, this is based off of Moonlighting or whatever, like their dynamic.
Yeah.
Based off her research, and I was like, oh, I had no idea. And based off this, like I said before, I will never watch Moonlighting because I hate this so much.
Yes, it was supposedly charming at the time. I never watched Moonlighting either. I'm familiar with it, but I never watched it.
I know what's crazy. So we are actually like almost halfway through the cartoon already, Dex. There's so little happens. Like if you really think about it, they come out, Link and Zelda get attacked by Ganon and the Moblins. That starts at like 1.5 minutes. That whole fight scene takes about 3 minutes to like 3.5. Ganon runs away because he's like, fuck that, even though it's an easier fight, and walks away. Then there's mystery. Like it feels like almost all of this is filler. Like it's crazy how fast this episode goes. And I can't believe I'm saying that because 9 times out of 10 this show drags like crazy.
I can almost guarantee you, if I could put money down on something like this was an episode written entirely on coming up with the title of the episode first. Of Missing Link. Like, oh, that's so funny. Oh, I guess here's an episode where Link goes missing. And because normally with these shows, like we noticed a few times with Captain N and stuff, where there were elements of the story that were either rushed or didn't make sense, and it was like, oh, they probably had to cut stuff to squeeze it into these little time slots that they get. This one legitimately, like why did you've removed stuff, very important things from this, and it doesn't make sense now, or it's more of the absence of important things rather than taking things out.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't know what they would have taken. I think the story is actually like not well told, but like everything that needs to be there is there. But there's just like nothing all that interesting happening. It's just I don't know.
It needs to be punched up.
Yeah, just something added. I don't know. So Link and Zelda do make it to Ganon's like evil, like the lair near the evil jar, and one of the Stalfos that Zelda zaps is in the evil jar now and relays to Ganon that like, hey, we heard Link, but we could not see Link. And Ganon goes, really? So that must mean that his spirit must be disconnected from his body. because the logic that I guess we forgot to mention before, the reason this even happens is Ganon's spell that was supposed to send Zelda to the evil jar, since it ricocheted around like 5 or 6 walls, it became weakened. So when it accidentally hit Link, it didn't fully send him to the evil jar. It just sent his body to the evil jar and left his spirit there. And
Well, there's a
Ganon
theory that both Ganon and Zelda have as to why this happened, though.
it's because Zelda's was that it had been weakened. What was Ganon's? Maybe I missed that. I know Ganon's theory as to why Zelda can see Link, but I thought was there a different theory as to like why Link's body got separated?
Okay. I thought that they were one and the same, but I guess yeah, you're right. One is the spell, and one is why she can see him still.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was confused. I'm like, I didn't think I missed something. Yeah, because so what Ganon? What you teased it a bit, Dex. What's Ganon's theory about why Zelda can see Link?
He's like, no, it can't be. It's because she's in love with him.
She's supposed to love me. He doesn't say that, but I feel like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
But no, her reaction or his reaction would be the same as mine. Like, what? She's in love with him? She's done nothing but rebuff him the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, and then we cut to Link and Zelda talking about it, which also felt confusing as well. I was like, wait, Link and Zelda weren't in the room when Ganon said that, but I guess they must have been having the same conversation at the same time.
No. They watched.
Me.
They watched it. So when Ganon says it, let me double check. So it's around 9 minutes and 55-ish seconds.
So they were eavesdropping.
Yeah, they're in like this like balcony overlooking the evil jar. I don't know if the camera pans up or not. The episode's playing on right now, so I'll let you know in just a moment. But yeah, they are in a balcony overlooking the evil jar, and that's when they overhear what Ganon said. Yeah, actually, the camera pans out, zooms out, and you see Link and Zelda staring at them from a balcony high above. So that's how they find out about it. But then Link, being a complete dummy, decides to start yelling, "Zelda loves me, Zelda loves me," like a fucking sports match, Zelda loves me. I don't know if the clap came on there, but dun, 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 Zelda loves me. It's dumb. It's stupid.
I'm going to try to start that chant at the next sports game I go to.
Next baseball game you go to, Zelda loves me. Oops, all bruises. Like, what? What's going on here? Oh my god. So Ganon sees, like, understandably so, they're able to hear them. So he summons out a whole bunch of moblins. Link jumps off the balcony, not like the fall's going to hurt him or anything. That he literally wafts down. He floats down. Did you see the tapestry behind him as he floats down? I actually kind of love the design of that.
Didn't it have like a skeleton and a snake on it or something like that? What was on there?
No, it had like a cool like barbarian and like holding like a magic orb between his hands with like a horn helmet. It's around 11 minutes and 30 seconds.
Is that the one that caught fire?
Is that supposed to be fire? It doesn't look like it's on fire. Or maybe it catches fire later on.
The background gets caught on fire. I remember.
Oh. Yeah, because I think that's what it is. Because Zelda jumps down at the same thing, and she swings. She swings on the lantern, which then causes it to fall over and roll over to the tapestries and light them on fire. Which is a shame because they're really cool looking tapestries.
Did you also notice that when she was zapped? I think the first moblin she zapped, just disappears. Also, okay, yeah, I see the tapestry you're talking about. The first moblin that she zaps just straight up disappears, doesn't do like the whole animation of like it normally does. They just remove him from the animation entirely.
We don't have the budget for this anymore.
Yeah, there's no visual, no audio cue, nothing of like what other than the zap hitting him, there's no animation of him being destroyed.
Does that mean, Dex, that Zelda is more powerful than Link because she can just bleep things out of existence? That I would assume the zap is the mob getting teleported to the evil jar. Maybe she's so powerful she bleeped him out of existence. There is no evil jar for him.
There we go.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, I support that.
So Link does go into the evil jar and is able to repossess his body. Stalfos is in there. He grabs him by the arm. He's like, "You give me a bomb," and he blows up the evil jar, which then flows the smoke out of there like a wave. And he's surfing on it by standing. That makes no unless his shoes have skis or what really strong flotation devices and the man's got ankles of steel to keep his balance. I don't know how he did it.
Don't you remember the very famous item from Zelda, the evil hover boots, where you can hover on evil?
Evil boots. He gets out though. Zelda at this point has been fully captured, not fully captured, she's basically she is grabbed and held by detained. Thank you. That's the word I couldn't think of. Detained by moblins. She throws the sword out of her hand and kicks it to Link so that way he can zap the moblins. The evil jar is going fucking nuts, blowing everything up, and they have to escape from decimating Ganon's lair. Now, I will say, even though this is the final episode and Ganon says something effective like "I'll get you next time, Gadget," it is kind of a fitting end, the
destruction of the evil jar. And that, coming back to the beginning of this episode, is what I was saying. That's the coolest part of this episode, because when that happened, I was like, I want to see that episode, the fallout of destroying the evil jar. Because after he broke the evil jar and was zapping those moblins to save Zelda, I was like, where are they going? Mm-hmm. Where do they go now when he just zapped them? And then the evil jar exploded. So then my brain was like, okay, is there something broken with the spell? Those moblins were supposed to appear there and instead caused this eruption in the evil jar to explode. But then that was I love that idea of an episode. What does Ganon do without an evil jar? What's his plan now? Where do all his baddies go? Yeah.
I didn't mean, so when you were saying that at the beginning of the episode, I'm like, what part is he talking about? Because like I said, this episode just went in one ear and out the other. It was really and I'm just blown away. So we are 33 minutes into recording, but we spent the first 6 minutes talking about a game I had been playing. So we are less than 30 minutes into the episode, Dexter. That's how little there is on this cartoon. There's just so little plot points, and I think that's been my whole issue with the Zelda cartoons. There is nothing to talk about with them. There's so little substance. In the Mario Super Show, there is so many weird ideas. Yes, there are some episodes that don't work, but there are so many weird ideas and visual gags, and I know some of these shows were these were money grabs, right? They were slapped together to make, to capitalize on the height of Nintendo fandom of the NES era in the 80s. I totally get that. I understand their purpose. But there seems to me there's an element of how can I put this? This cartoon and the Mario cartoon each had strengths that were nowhere near each other, even though they were made by the same studios. The Zelda cartoon, I would actually say the overall visuals and the music are phenomenal. I think the fact that it's a fully orchestrated version of the Zelda cartoon, which listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, or Dex, if correct me if I'm wrong. Was this the first time in North America we heard an orchestrated version of the Zelda theme?
I would think so. They're only 2 games deep at this point. I don't even know if the second game was out yet.
And sorry, real quick, before I continue to give my final thoughts, we should at least cap off how the episode ends. They do escape. They're they climb out of the pit where I guess Ganon came out of first. Link and Zelda try to kiss, but the pit suddenly gets massive in one shot. and what part of the earth breaks away right as Link is about to finally get his kiss from Zelda. He falls in. The pit is still massive in the shot of Zelda looking over it, but then when they have a wide shot of both of them in frame again, the pit's like small. It just kind of changes dimensions for whatever they need, I guess.
Yes.
And that's how the episode ends. It's just, it's so funny. You still didn't get your kiss, you stupid son of a bitch. That's it. That's how the episode ends. But to go back to what I was saying though, like, I think the Mario Super Show, I can't believe I'm saying this, has better writing. Like, I think the writing in the Super Show is so much more interesting and engaging. The live action segments are so much more fun. I know the Zelda show had live action segments, but they were for the Mario Super Show, and the Zelda cartoon just fit into the cartoon slot once a week. What a wild like format if you think about it. It's the Super Mario Super Show, and for 4 days a week you get a live action Mario segment, Mario cartoon, live action Mario segment, and then what was it, like Thursdays or something like that, or maybe Fridays you got a live action Mario segment, a Zelda cartoon, and then another live action. Then they close out the live action Mario segment. And it's weird to me how this was all done under the same show, but the Zelda, it was very clear. How can I put this? I don't think they knew what to do with Zelda as much as they did with Mario, which is wild because there's more story substance to the Zelda games even back then than there was in the Mario games.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, just look at how Mario's treated. Every episode is a spoof of something, of Star Wars, of Westerns, of gladiator movies, of, every episode. It's very little about Mario. Mario and the gang are just actors or characters in these spoofs, which, I mean, understanding the Mario mythos even today, like going back to Mario Brothers 3, where they're on a stage and there's curtains and things like that. So it's fitting that Mario and Luigi and Peach, and they're all kind of just characters that go through these different roles. That makes sense. The thing that's wild to me is usually, I'm trying to remember the saying that, like, limitations breed creativity. Isn't that the saying, I believe?
Yep.
You would think that when you can do anything with Mario, that would be like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Whereas Zelda, you're restricted to, like, hey, you've got, what is it, like 11 minutes that they are? Like, you've got 11 minutes. You can't do anything that carries over into it's got to reset the status quo by the end. You're within this world of these monsters and creatures, and you're right. It felt like they didn't know what to do, that they were kind of really, really spinning their wheels. And I really like, it's come up before in previous episodes. I really felt like Bob Forward had no idea what to do with Zelda, and the better episodes were the ones that were like Eve Forward or someone else, that seemed to, like, oh, I have a story I want to tell in this world, kind of thing. Whereas an episode like this, I think that he came up with the episode name and was like, there we go, missing Link. Link goes missing. But we can't have a Zelda cartoon without Link in it. So he's missing, but he's just invisible. There we go. There's the episode.
I don't hate the premise of this one all that much. I hate the execution. The execution is just silly and nonsensical. Like Ganon just leaving, Zelda taking his shield and just disappearing with it, doesn't come back with it. Ganon having the upper hand and be like, nah, and leaving when everything that he could possibly want is within his grasp. Like,
and even the line of, I could, but why work so hard? Like, bro, my brother in Hylia, like, you're the one who
evil.
You made the power wand. You came all the way here.
What do you mean, why work so hard?
Yeah, you've already worked so hard to be in this position.
Oh my gosh. It's just silly. The whole episode is just 10 flavors of silly, man. Like, it's wild. I think to wrap up our episode, for our finale next, we should kind of just talk about the cartoon series as a whole. Now that we've watched all of it,
Yeah.
just kind of giving our overall thoughts with it. And this is now my second time watching this cartoon again. The first time was I did an episode over on Jala's podcast. We wanted to actually shout out to Jala. We wanted to get her on an episode here. And if she listens to this and she's wondering, like, well, Josh didn't reach out to me, unfortunately, because I talked to her before, and like when Dexter and I are able to record, she's generally not. And before I wanted to reach out to her, I tried, Dexter and I tried to find a time that would work for both of us, that would work for her, that I knew was maybe something that would work, like an evening recording session type of thing. And it just didn't work out. So apologies in advance, Jolly, if you're listening to this. But wanted to shout you out because we were trying to get her on for this because she grew up on this cartoon. This was a favorite of hers, and so I guested on her show to talk about. I watched all the cartoons in a much less appealing way, where I watched, I think, all of them over the course of like a day and a half, and that was brutal. And then doing it for this was much more palatable because they're 15 minutes once every other month. It really wasn't too bad. But man, this show is like just not good. The Mario Super Show is like not good but camp, like so bad it's amazing and humorous and amusing. This is just flat out like almost not enjoyable in some instances. Like, this episode didn't bother me as much as others, but I still wouldn't say it was good. In general, I mean, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse because this is a common, dialogue, conversation on the internet. The Zelda cartoon sucks. And but the thing is that the show really does. It just sucks. Like, it's not a good show. There's not a lot of joy in it. Weirdly enough, like the writing is so, like, they rely way too much on the shitty relationship between Link and Zelda. Maybe this would have worked a little bit more back when it was contemporary in '89, but the vast majority of the show is just Link being a fucking perv and Zelda being strong. I will give them that. Zelda is a stronger character than they probably would have written in other stuff around this time. But it makes both of them obnoxious. Like, Zelda is just so mean to Link all the time, but Link does nothing to dissuade that by being a complete dick as well. Like, neither of them are very likable. Sprite's not even that likable because anytime that Link tries to kiss Zelda, she gets all bitter about it. It's just a show where very few of the characters are likable. The writing isn't that great. The only thing it really has going for it is the visuals and the music.
Yeah, the visuals and the music are the highlight here. It is a bummer that that this can't be something to show someone to get them introduced to, like, what's Zelda all about, which is what you would kind of hope for from a product like this, that it can be a gateway, or even just like a little treat to put on from time to time to, like, I don't have time to play the game, but I can watch an episode of this show kind of thing. But
yeah,
there are moments sprinkled in different episodes that do have that, like, this is why I like this game series. It has its moments here and there, whether it's a cool action scene or like some of the magic concepts are cool. But overall, yeah, if you want to convince someone that to like Zelda as much as you do, you probably don't tell them about this show and you don't tell them about the CDI games,
What are you talking about? I'm sure they're wonderful.
What CDI games? Those
Yeah.
We don't speak about those.
You're right, we don't. And the CDI games, while they probably aren't great to play, at least they have some visual interest to them. Like, they're just so ridiculous that they're fun to, like, watch, at least for, like, in passing. This just doesn't have that. It's competently made, but man, it's just, I wish I had something more insightful to say about why this show sucks, but it just sucks. The big reason, at least for me, is just Zelda and Link are just unlikable. They made both of the characters very unlikable. Link more so. Link is much more unlikable than Zelda, but none of the, I would say the most likable character is her dad, who's a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the idea was that they wanted a hook of some kind, and so that's why they chose the moonlighting kind of pastiche.
Yeah.
But I think if they were more genuine, and tried to actually do something that was more fantastical, it would have been insincere. I think that would have been more successful. But I don't know. Maybe I've got to remember how I felt about my cartoon shows in 1989, 1990. Because I really looked forward to watching the Zelda cartoon, and I think it was just the hunger of media based on games that I knew and enjoyed. That was like, oh my gosh, there's Sonic, oh my gosh, there's Mario, there's Link. Anytime I had the chance to watch these games based on these simple pixel graphic things, like I was just eating it up. And so maybe there is a little bit of that where they felt like they didn't need to do as much from the writing side of things. But yeah, I wish they were just a little bit more sincere rather than trying to make it give it some kind of weird gimmick.
Yeah, and I think the reason the Mario show works is because it can rely on a gimmick every episode.
Right.
Like, this is just one gimmick, and it's not a particularly endearing one. It probably was endearing in '89 because of moonlighting, but like in general, like it just. I almost think the Mario, since he's such a blank slate of a character, benefited more from this style of like kind of soulless cash grab cartoon than like Zelda, who has some substance in terms of like narrative and story and everything like that and themes for the time. Mario, since there's a little bit of story here and there. Mario is still light on story, and Zelda is a lot heavier on story, and that's fine. That's what makes them both so unique and different. But the style of show, like, I shouldn't say that. This cartoon could have been good. It could have been good if they picked a better dynamic and if they got better writing. But coulda, shoulda, woulda.
And I think that's part of it. I can't remember if I've mentioned it on a previous episode or before or not, but like the way that Nintendo treats Mario and Zelda is like, hey, if we did it with Mario, do the opposite with Zelda, and vice versa. And it fits even with the movies. Animated Mario movie, live action Zelda movie, and that's why I think like goofy satire for Mario, sincere for Zelda, I think would have been a lot. I think that dynamic would have worked a lot better. And to me, that's why I love both, is because they scratch different itches. Like they specifically go out of their way of like Mario is athletic platforming, Zelda is serious exploration and adventure. That's the whole point, is they tackle both sides of the coin kind of thing.
I agree with you. I just think that their version of serious exploration and adventure is just still not good. Like, it's still just very like I agree with you. That's what they went for, and they arguably achieved both of those tones. It's just the Zelda one, like I said, none of the characters are likable, and the stories are still nonsensical. They're more serious, but this one obviously is a good example of it. But even some of the others, man, where it's like the fucking water fountain one, where the king wants to build a water park, and they get warped into the land of fairies, and they're like, oh, this is all he wanted. Okay, there's no plot to that. There's
Right.
nothing. It is a misconception that turned into it. Literally, it's wild to me that episode out of all of them is 15 minutes, because it literally amounts to the king wants to build a water park. Monsters start attacking. They go down the drain after the monster. They fight a few more monsters over there, and then the fairies come out and says, hey, this is our water. Oh, this was a misconception. And that's the episode. It's the equivalent of a 5-minute argument in a drama. It's wild that they stretched it out into 15 minutes.
Mario is already a sitcom, and then they made Zelda a sitcom too. And like, that's what I mean by like, I wish that they focused on making it a little bit more genuine and serious.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said I misunderstood. My apologies.
I was talking about the games, but yeah, and that's what I wanted them to do with the shows. So if Mario is the silly sitcom, Zelda should have been a more genuine, serious take. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking about like grim, dark, edgy kind of thing. I'm just saying like taking
Game of
itself more
Zelda.
seriously. But just taking itself more seriously compared to the Mario show. Even the way that they pitch it, like whenever they do like here's scenes for the next Zelda cartoon, they always focus on like the magic and the action whenever they show those clips. Like that, but that's what we like about Zelda. That's how the show should have been focused.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I just don't like this show. I don't know what to think. This show has melted my brain a little bit.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe a sitcom would work for Zelda if they chose a better backbone than Moonlighting, where, you know, with
And a better tagline than "Excuse me, Prince." Actually, no, that's pretty good.
But
That's
making the characters more likable and consistent. Because even though they chose Moonlighting, like sometimes, I don't know, I felt like Zelda was the mean one sometimes and Link was the mean one. Like one of them always had to be mean, and I wasn't really hip on that.
Same. That's something from the 90s, though. 90s shows always had, like, especially shows with siblings and stuff like that, the one sibling was always the mean one, but they weren't the main character. You know, I think of like Clarissa Explains It All and Ferguson. That's her brother Ferguson?
Yeah.
Man, that's a fucking throwback. It's been a year since I watched that show. But like almost all stuff in the 90s that you had, like siblings hated each other. And now I like it a lot more now we're in the media, like with Bluey, where like Bluey and Bingo genuinely love each other and care for each other. They still get in fights and arguments and whatnot, but like one of them is not just the mean one, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, well, let's wrap up this episode, Dexter. Let's wrap up the finale for the Zelda cartoon. Thank you, as always, my friend, for giving me so much of your time and working out all the schedule to chat about these cartoons for the last, oh my gosh, I mean, we've been doing this since 2021, like not Zelda and Mario specifically, but chatting about video game cartoons for over 5 years now, Dexter.
Oh, man.
Consistently for 5, because we started in like the spring of 2021, because that was when my daughter was born earlier that year, and I wanted to switch up to mini episodes so it would ease my burden a little bit, something I don't have to think about content, also lighter in terms of editing. And we have stuck to that schedule now. I don't think we may have missed a month or something like that, but we get a couple months off here and there, but we have really not missed anything for the last 5 years, and here we are wrapping up Zelda.
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Well, yes, thank you once again, my friend. As per usual, I guess, where can the good people find you online, and what would you like to promote?
You can find me on most of the social medias just under my name, Dexter Morrill, DexterMorrill. You can find me on there sharing artwork or video game news or retro video game type things. And with Zelda wrapping up, after we finished each season of Captain N, there was kind of a t-shirt design for Still Loading Podcast.
Yes. I didn't know if there was going to be one for this or not.
So I should probably get on doing that and make one for, to celebrate completing the Zelda series, which was just one season. But I think we're due another Still Loading t-shirt design, so people can look forward to that.
All right, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing it. As at the time of this recording, I still don't know what it'll be, but I'm excited to see. All right. Well, as for myself, of course, you can follow me on Blue Sky at stillloadingpodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitch and Instagram at stillloadingpod over there. If you like the show and want to support it, the easiest way to do it is just giving it a 5-star rating or review on whichever podcasting app you use. It does help more people find the show, and I like seeing some nice comments every now and again. You know what I'm saying? And so that's easy and free for you. I would really appreciate it. If you really like the show, there's also a Patreon, patreon.com/stillloadingpod. For only $1 a month, you get all the episodes a little bit earlier with better audio quality, as well as access to patron voting rights, which help guide the direction of the show. There's also a $3 level where you get everything I mentioned prior, plus patron shoutouts, which you heard at the beginning of this episode. For $4 a month, at the $4 level, you get everything I mentioned prior, plus 2 mini bonus episodes. And for $5 a month, you get everything, all the previous years, plus access to my monthly movie podcast, which changes depending on the theme of the movie. It was still bonding for James Bond. It was still family for Fast and Furious. Now it is still Muppeting for the Muppets. It's the only Muppet movie podcast where me and my friend Doug play the music, light the lights, and we talk about the Muppets on Still Muppeting Tonight. And that's all over at patreon.com/stillloadingpod. But that is it. That is all the time I have for you on this episode of Still Loading. Thank you all so much for listening. Dexter, thank you once again for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And with all that said, listeners, excuse me, princess.